हरिः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। Hare Krishna. So we will continue on the fourth chapter, the process of creation. The inquiry made by Maharaj Parikshit, particularly on how the Supreme Lord creates the universe through his energies, how he carries out the functions of maintenance and destruction. It's a very big topic, and this activity of the Lord of creation, maintenance, and destruction is inconceivable even to the demigods. So Maharaj Parikshit is being told by Sukdev Goswami, O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Further, this is the 9th verse. Yatha gunam stu prakrite Jugapat Kamasho Piva Vibharti Bhurishastva Urvan Karmani Janmapri. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one. Whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands into many forms or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. So these are various inquiries that Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring. Vichikshitam etanme bhavitsu bhagavan yatha shabde brahmani nishnata parashamim sa bhavan khalu. So kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literature and self-realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord, and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. So Parikshit Maharaj is submitting and he is requesting Sukdev Goswami to clear up all his inquiries and his doubts. In the Brahma Samhita it is said, the Supreme Absolute Truth Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is infallibly expanded by innumerable forms, non-different from one another, although he is the original person. What is the verse we recited 2 days back while we were in Parikshat Brahma Samhita? What verse is this? Although one without a second is infallibly expanded by innumerable forms, non-different from one another, although he is the original person. Which verse from Brahma Samhita? Very famous verse. Very, very famous verse. It should be easy. Yes, Ravindra Bro, Priyanka.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is Advaita Achintya Anadi Anantarupam
Yes. Adyam Purana Purusham Navyavan.
Navjogvarancha.
This is very good. You see, if you will see, closely, most of the purport you will see Prabhupada is quoting from various scriptures only. He is ever, he is still ever young with permanent useful energy. Navyavanam. He is very difficult to know simply by learning of the transcendental science of the Vedas. Vedesha Durlabham. But he is very easily realized by his pure devotee. Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. The expansion of different forms of the Lord, as from Krishna to Baldev to Sankarshan, from Sankarshan to Vasudev, from Vasudev to Anirudh, from Anirudh to Pradyumna, and then again the second Sankarshana, and from him to the Narayan Purusha avatars, and innumerable other forms which are compared to the constant flowing of the uncountable waves of a river, are all one and the same. They are like lamps of equal power which kindle from one lamp to another. That is the transcendental potency of the Lord. The Vedas say that he is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from him, and still he remains the same complete whole. And this is the Isha Upanishad verse. What is the verse? Who remembers this verse? Isha Upanishad. Very famous verse. Very, very famous verse. Prabhupada quotes it so many times. Yes, Ramya, बोलिए.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी ओम पूर्णम पूर्णमादाय पूर्णात एव विशिष्यत ऐसा कुछ है प्रभु जी आपके याद है.
Yes, that is right. And this is the Purnam verse. That the Supreme Lord is so complete and so many complete whole emanate from the complete, and yet he remains complete. He still remains the same complete. He is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from him, he still remains the same complete whole. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. As such, there is no validity in a material conception of the Lord produced by the mental speculator. Thus, he remains always a mystery for the mundane scholar, even if he is wisely learned in the Vedic literatures. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atmakau. Therefore, the Lord is beyond the limit of conception for mundane learned scholars, philosophers, or scientists. He is easily understandable for the pure devotee because the Lord declared in the Bhagavad Gita 1855. What is 1855? Very popular verse again. We just read. This Sunday we read the entire Bhagavad Gita. What is 1855? You should be knowing. Dayāśīl? You are not the Dayāśīl Prabhu? Pradeep, you did not travel today? Or you have reached? Tomorrow. What is the verse 1855? Now what you have studied, that means you have not studied Bhagavad Gita at all. If this 1855 is not known, that means the entire Bhagavad Gita is not known. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmuta khuta. Unless the interval becomes a devotee, he cannot know aspect of the Supreme Lord. After surpassing the stage of knowledge, when one is able to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, then only one can know the true nature of the Lord, and cannot have any clear conception of the Lord, and can have any clear conception of the Lord, His holy name, form, attribute, pastime, unless one is engaged in His transcendental loving service. The statement of the Bhagavad Gita is that one must first of all surrender unto the Lord, being free from all other engagements. That means that one must become a pure, unconditional devotee of the Lord only. Then can one know Him by the strength of devotional service. Maharaj Parikshit admitted in the previous verse that the Lord is inconceivable even for the greatest learned scholars. Why then should he again request Sukadeva Goswami to clear his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Sukadeva Goswami vastly learned in Vedic literatures, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. A powerful devotee of the Lord, by the grace of the Lord, more than the Lord himself, is more than the Lord himself. The personality of Godhead, Sri Ramchandra attempted to bridge the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka. But Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. Lord Ram is so merciful upon his pure devotees that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvasa Muni, although the Muni was so powerful that he could reach the Lord directly under material conditions. But Durvasa Muni was saved by Maharaj Amrish, a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, not only is a devotee of the Lord more powerful than the Lord, but also the worship of the devotee is considered more effective than direct worship of the Lord. Bhaktya, Mad Bhaktya Puja Vidika. Mad Bhakta Puja Vidika. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. The conclusion is therefore that a serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who is not only well versed in the Vedic literatures, but is also a great devotee with factual realizations of the Lord and his different energies. Without the help of such a devotee spiritual master, one cannot make progress in the transcendental service of the Lord. And the bona fide spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami does not speak about the Lord only in the matter of his internal potencies, but also explains how he associates with his external potencies. The Lord's pastime and his internal potencies are displayed in his activities in Vrindavan, but the works of his external potency are directed by his features of Karnanavashai, Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti offers a good counsel to the interested Vaishnavas when he says that they should not be interested in hearing only about the Lord activities in Vrindavan, like the Ras Leela, but must be keenly interested in his pastimes, in his features of the Purusha avatars incarnations. Purusha avatars in connection with Smriti Tattva, Srishti Tattva, creational functions. Following the examples of Maharaj Parikshit, the ideal disciple, Sukadeva Goswami, the ideal spiritual master. So he is inquiring, and in regard to his inquiry, he is wanting his doubts all to be cleared out. Sūta uvacha iti upara mantrito raja ragna Gunanukantena hari Rishikesham anusmritya prativaktam prachakrame. Sud Goswami said, when Sukadeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly he spoke thus. Gopal gives a very important message to all of us. The devotee of the Lord, while delivering speeches, and describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, do not think that they can do anything independently. They think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak by the Supreme Lord, the master of the senses. The senses of the individual being are not his own. The devotee knows that such senses belong to the Supreme Lord and that they can be properly used when they are employed for the service of the Lord. The senses are instrumental and elements are ingredients, all endowed by the Lord. Therefore, whatever an individual can do, speak, see, etc., is under the direction of the Lord only. In Bhagavad Gita 15:15 confirms this, Sarvasya Chaham Iti Sannivishto Matta Smritirjnanam Apohanam Cha Vedesya Sarve Rahameva Vedyo. No one is free to act freely and independently. And as much, one should always seek the permission of the Lord to act or eat or speak. And by the blessing of the Lord, everything done by a devotee is beyond the principles of the four defects, typical of the conditioned soul. So in this way, we see that even the sages are very keen. They have inquired that what was the question made by Parikshit Maharaj. Sri Shuka Uvacha Namaha Parasmai Purushasya Bhuyase Shat Udbhava Sthana Nirodha Leelaye Grahita Shakti Titiyaya Dehina Antarbhavaya Anuplakshaya Vartmani. So how Sukdev Goswami begins to answer the questions inquired on creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Sukdev Goswami says, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who for the creation of the material world accepts the three modes of nature. He is complete whole residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable. Anupalakshaya. What was the word in the first 6 verses? For inconceivable, animal remembers. Again, this point is again and again being emphasized, both by the hearer and speaker. Yes, Sonika?
Prabhuji, Durbibhyam.
Yes.
Durbibhyam.
Will be with him. Yes. So normally all these subject matters by one's intellect or scholarship one cannot fathom, one cannot access. The material world is manifestation of three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And the Supreme Lord for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world accepts three predominating forms as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, Shankara. As Vishnu enters into every body materially created, as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he enters into every universe. And as Shirodakshai Vishnu enters the body of every living being. Lord Sri Krishna, being the origin of all Vishnu's tattvas, is addressed here as Paraha Puman, or Purushottama, as described in Bhagavad Gita 15:18. What is the verse 15:18? Who remembers? Pradeep? Without seeing the book. We all memorized the 15th chapter fully, only 20 verses. Shame on all the adult devotees. Huh? Kid devotees are able to memorize 46 verses. And adult devotees are not able to memorize even 10, 15, 20 verses. Bolo, Pradeep.
लक्ष्मणस्कारम् अतीतो अक्षरम्
अक्षरादपि
अभिचोत्तमः
अतः अस्मै लोक वेदे च प्रतीता
पुरुषोत्तम
पुरुषोत्तम प्रतीता पुरुषोत्तम यस्मात् शरणमतीतो हम. So in this world there are two types of people. In previous verse Krishna is saying Dvaima Purusha Loke Sharad Aksharad Evacha. Shara means fallible and Aksharad means infallible. Shara is where in the material world, Akshara is in the spiritual world. But he is beyond both. Yasmad Shara Atitoham Aksharad Api Chottama. And he is beyond even Paramatma. And he is known as Purushottama. Ataya asme log vede cha pratita Purushottama. That is the verse. So he is beyond. He is beyond everyone. So he is addressed here as Para Puman or Purushottama, as described in Bhagavad Gita 15:18. He is the complete whole. The Purusha avatars are therefore his plenary expansions. Bhakti Yoga is the only process by which one can become competent to know him, because the empiric scholars and mystic yogas cannot conceive of the personality of Godhead. Anupalakshaye Vartamani, the Lord of inconceivable way, or Bhakti Yoga. So those who are able to access the Brahman conception or the Paramatma conception, they cannot know. So further he is offering his prayers. Bhuyo nama sadvrijini chiddeya satam asambhava akhila sattva murte pumsa puna parmamsya ashrame vyavasthitanam anumarga dasyuse. I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotee from all distresses and the destroyer of the further advances in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demon. Technical. Who is the liberator of the pious devotee from all distresses and the destroyer of further advances in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations. Lord Shri Krishna, the complete form of existence, both material and spiritual. Akhila means complete, or that which is not khila, which is inferior. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, there are two kinds of nature, Prakriti, namely the material nature and the spiritual nature, or the eternal and internal potencies of the Lord. The material nature is called apara, or inferior, and the spiritual nature is called superior or transcendental. Therefore, the form of the Lord is not of the inferior material nature. He is complete transcendence, and he is murti or having transcendental form. The less intelligent men who are unaware of his transcendental form describe him as the impersonal Brahman. But Brahman is simply the rays of his transcendental body. This is again from Brahma Samhita. The devotees who are aware of his transcendental form render him service. Therefore, the Lord also reciprocates by his causeless mercy and thus delivers his devotee from all distresses. The pious men who follow the rulings of the Vedas are also dear to him, and therefore the pious men of this world are also protected by him. The impious and the non-devotees are against the principles of the Vedas, and so such persons are always hampered from making advances in their nefarious activities. Some of them who are specially favored by the Lord are killed by him personally, as is the case of Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, and Kamsa. And thus such demons get salvation and are thereby checked from further progress in their demonic activities. Just like a kind father, either his favor upon the devotee or his punishment of the demon, he is ever kind to everyone, because he is the complete existence for all individual existence. The Paramhamsa stage of existence is the highest perfectional stage of spiritual values. According to Srimati Kunti Devi, the Lord is factually understood by Paramhamsas only. This verse all of you know. Manoram Prabhu, what is this verse that Kunti Devi offers? Holy Vaisam. It cannot be that you are the part of the group and you say that I cannot memorize, I cannot remember. This excuse will not work. What verse is this? Even little Amoha can speak. He is watching? Purushottam?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
आज नहीं बैठी है?
नहीं प्रभु, सोने गई है।
सो गई। बोलो भाई, मनोराम। What Kunti Devi is speaking? Prabhupada is quoting Kunti Devi. Kunti Devi is talking about Paramahamsas. Kuber? तुमको तो मालूम नहीं है, ये मत बोलना, ये मैं नहीं सुनूंगा। मेरी क्लास में को बोले मालूम नहीं है तो क्लास से बाहर जाओ, फिर आए क्यों? फिर क्या काम है? बोलो क्या वर्ष है? ये तो वर्ष तो आना चाहिए भैया, वर्ष नहीं आता तो फिर इट्स अ शेम। रविंद्र ब्रो, यू रिसाइट द वर्स। कुंती देवी की प्रेयर्स याद कराई थी ना, अभी 1 साल भी नहीं हुआ है, रोज रोज रिसाइट किया करो।
तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनाम् अमलात्मनं भक्ति योग विधानार्थं कथं पश्यमे हि स्त्रियः।
वेरी गुड, परफेक्ट। क्यों भाई मनोराम, हैव यू नॉट मेमोराइज दिस वर्स? बट यू आर नॉट राइटिंग, दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम। Don't apply your intelligence. We know what level it is. It is not spiritual, whatever level it may be. So please write. Did you write the verse 4 times or even once? Answer me.
Yes, Prabhuji, but not revised actually, so you forget it.
Yep, everyday use. There are so many occasions when we are just waiting and wasting time. So why can't you repeat the prayers? Huh? So build this attitude. Don't let your mind make you remain absorbed in material thought process. Purify the mind by reciting these prayers of the great stalwart devotees, pure devotees. The Lord is factually understood by the Paramhansas only. Which kind of Paramhansa? Those who are on the highest perfectional stage of spiritual awareness. As there is gradual realization of the transcendence from impersonal Brahman to localized Paramatma and the personality of Godhead, Purushottama, Lord Krishna, similarly, there is a gradual promotion of one situation in the spiritual life of sannyas, Utichaka, Bahudaka, Paribhajakacharya, and Paramahansas. So many times we have discussed this. Are gradual progressive stages in the renounced order of life. Sannyas and Queen Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas, has spoken about them in her prayers to Lord Krishna, Canto 1, Chapter 8. The Paramahansas are generally found among both the impersonalists and the devotees. But according to Srimad Bhagavatam, as clearly stated by Kunti Devi, pure Bhakti Yoga is understood by the Paramahamsas. And Kunti Devi has specially mentioned that the Lord descends, Paritranaya Sadhuna, especially to award Bhakti Yoga to the Paramahamsas. So ultimately, the Paramahamsas, in the true sense of the term, are unalloyed devotees of the Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami has directly accepted that the highest destination is Bhakti Yoga, by which one renders transcendental loving service to the Lord. Those who accept the path of Bhakti Yoga are the factual Paramahamsas. So it is not based on body, it is not based on gender, it is not based on dress, it is not based on residence. What is it based on? It is based on one's realization and on spiritual values. Since the Lord is very kind to everyone, the impersonalists who accept bhakti as the means of merging into the Lord's impersonal existence, the Brahmajyoti, are also awarded their desired destination. He has assured everyone in the Bhagavad Gita, 4.11, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam satheva bhajami. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, there are two classes of Paramahamsas, namely the Brahmanandis, impersonalists, and the Premanandis. Beautiful. Brahmanandis and Premanandis, devotees. And both are awarded their desired destination. Although the Premanandis are more fortunate than the Brahmanandis. But both the Brahmanandis and the Premanandis are transcendentalists, and they have nothing to do with the inferior material nature, full of the existential miseries of life. Last verse. So his prayer continues, saying, Namo namaste astvarishabhaya satvata vidur kasthaya muhuya uyogina nirasta samya atisayena radhasa swadhamani brahmani ramsate namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, who is the associate of the members of the Yadu dynasty, and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual world. Yet he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. They are the two sides of the transcendental manifestation of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. For the pure devotee, he is the constant companion, as in the case of his becoming one of the family members of the Dittu dynasty, or is becoming the friend of Arjuna, or is becoming the associate neighbor of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, as the son of Nanda Yashoda, the friend of Sudama, Sri Rama, and Madhu Mangal, or as the lover of damsels of Vrajbhumi, etc. These are aspects of his personal feature, and by his impersonal feature, he expands the rays of the Brahma Jyoti, which is limitless and all-pervasive. Part of his all-pervasive Brahma Jyoti, which is compared to the sun rays, is covered by the darkness of the Mahatattva. And this insignificant part is known as the material world. In this material world, there are innumerable universes like the one we can experience. And in each of them, there are hundreds of thousands of planets, like the one we are inhabiting. The mundaners are more or less captivated by the unlimited expansion of the rays of the Lord. But the devotees are concerned more with the personal form from which everything is emanating. Janmadiyas yataha itarastha chateshur abhigna swarata. As the sun rays are concentrated in the sun disk, the Brahma Jyoti is concentrated in Golok Vrindavan, the topmost spiritual planet in the spiritual sky. The immeasurable spiritual sky is full of spiritual planets. Vrindavan, the topmost spiritual planet in the spiritual sky. The innumerable spiritual sky is full of spiritual planets named Vaikunthas, far beyond the material sky. The mundaners have insufficient information of even the mundane sky. So what they can think of the spiritual sky. Therefore, the mundaners are always far, far away from him. With their tiny rockets, they are having difficulty reaching even the nearest planet. The moon, therefore, what can they conceive of the spiritual sky and the planets thereon? Even if in the future they are able to manufacture some machine whose speed may be accustomed to the velocity of the wind or mine, the mundaners will still be unable to imagine reaching the planets in the spiritual sky. So the Lord in his transcendental abode will always remain a myth or a mysterious problem for them. But for the devotee, the Lord will always be available as an associate. In the spiritual sky, the Lord's opulence is innumerable. He resides in all his spiritual planets. The innumerable Vaikuntha planets, by expanding his plenary portions along with his liberated devotee associates. But the impersonalists who want to merge into the existence of the Lord are allowed to merge as one of the spiritual sparks of the Brahma Jyoti. They have no qualifications for becoming associate of the Lord either in the Vaikuntha planets or in the supreme planet Golok Vrindavan, described in the Bhagavad Gita as Madhama, and in this verse as the Swadham of the Lord. This Madhama or Swadhama is described in the Bhagavad Gita 15:6 as follows: Na tat bhashyate suryo, na shashanko na pavaka, yad gatvana nivartante, tadhamum paramam mama. The Lord's Swadharma does not require any sunlight or moonlight or electricity for illumination. That Dhamma or planet is supreme, and whoever goes there never comes back to this material. The Vaikuntha planets and the Goloka Vrindavan planets are all self-illuminating, and the rays scattered by these Swadhamas of the Lord constitute the existence of Brahma Jyoti. The self-illumination of the Lord's Swadhama is further confirmed in the Veda. The following verse found in the Mundaka Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, and Shveta Upanishad. All the three Upanishads have the same verse. Na tatra suyo bhati na chandra tarakam neme Yudhanti kuto ayam agnihi nameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasha sarvam idam vibhati. In the Swadham of the Lord, there is no need of sun, moon, or stars for illumination, nor is there need of electricity. So, what to speak of the ignited lamp? On the other hand, it is because those planets are self-illuminating that all effulgence has become possible. And wherever there is that is dazzling, is due to the reflection of that Swadham. One who is dazzled by the effulgence of the impersonal Brahm Jyoti cannot know the personal transcendence. Therefore, in the Upanishad, Ishopanishad 15, it is prayed that the Lord remove his dazzling effulgence so that the devotee can see his real reality. It is spoken thus: Hiranmayena patrena satasya apihitam mukham tatvam pushanam apravannu apavrinu tatvam pushan apavrinu satyadharmaya drishtaye. O Lord, you are the maintainer of everything, both material and spiritual, and everything furnishes by your mercy. Your devotional service of Bhakti Yoga is the actual principle of religion, Satya Dharma. And I am engaged in that service. So kindly protect me by showing your real face. Please therefore remove the veil of your bhajan, Brahma Jyoti rays, so that I can see your form of eternal bliss. And I stop here. So we see when being questioned about the creation, so how Sukadeva Goswami is approaching? Completely dependence on the mercy of the Lord. He is offering all his prayers again and again for the senses. Hare Krishna. Any discussion, question, contributions? No questions? Okay, so I'll close here for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories